All right, who is still awake? Who is still awake? Because I am here. I am here waiting to see if the people are going to show up. So, hoping that you had a good day. This is the latest we've ever done Tuck-in Time. It's 11:10 getting started. And I was on Angie's 2,000 subscriber celebration. And it was really fun to be a part of that. And just to hear her growth and to hear, her YouTube journey was really, really helpful to me. So I'm thankful for that. Um, I just checked my steps. I did over 10,000 steps today, so that's pretty cool. So when I was on Angie's live, I was walking. I did like an hour. I walked for like an hour on her live, and I walked this morning too. So that's good. Kind of missed some days. So when you miss days, I can tell now. I can definitely tell when I miss days. Oh, I don't have that microphone on again, you guys. I'd gotten up. I tried getting on here, and the internet was not working. It was giving me such a hard time. But I just prayed, and I'm here, so that's really good. Oh, I finished editing the book, so I think we're going to be reading the children's books on Fridays. So I'll upload that first one tomorrow and see how that goes. And I think there's a couple other books I've read, so I'll add those and create the playlist for that. So that's really good. So thank you to all those who encouraged me to do that. I appreciate that. And my daughter was just messing with me. And then at the end of Angie's live, my 9-year-old discovered that her fish, Finley Jack, passed away. So that was hard for her. That was a little traumatic. So she had a bunch of questions. So we'll have the funeral for Finley Jack tomorrow. And that'll be really good. So we're going to get started. We're reading Iyanla Vanzant's book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And it's like a journal book. She gives us a word. There's 40 days. And today we're on day 14. And she gives us a word. And then she gives the definition, the commentary. And then there's journal entries, some affirmations, and stuff like that. So we're going to go through the whole thing. And remember, talking time is just a time to wind down and just relax from your day. The last couple of times I've been, adding in a lot of my own comments and things like that. So we'll see how tonight goes. We'll see how tonight goes. All right. So without any further ado, day 14, honor yourself with freedom. The principle we are working with today is freedom. It is the spiritually induced quality or state of being without restraint, bondage, limitation, or repression, a sense of inner and outer well being. Inner and outer well being. That's good. Commentary on freedom. Most of my life, I thought I wanted money. I believed that if I had money to do what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, I would be deliriously happy and free. As a child and as an adult, I have often heard myself say, "Boy, I wish I had $1 million." I thought that would be my ticket to freedom. One day, I woke up with those same thoughts floating around in my mind, and by the end of that day, I had $1.1 million. dollars. It was a short time later that I realized it was not the money that I actually wanted. My true desire was for the freedom I thought that money would bring. It was too late. I had the money and all the obligations that came along with earning it. In his empowerment workshops, author Stuart Wilde asked, "If you are not totally free, ask yourself why. Why? Because we paint ourselves into boxes that determine what we will allow ourselves to do based on our race, gender, age, and the external expectations that we believe those boxes impart. For the most part, we can go where we want, do what we want, eat, drink, and dress any way we choose to. Do we choose for ourselves that which we truly desire? That's a good question. Whoops. Do you choose for yourself that which you truly desire? Hmm. Under most of the normal conditions and pressures of life, we do not. We allow labels and expectations to keep us in boxes. Then we cry out for freedom. The entire purpose of life on earth is for us to be free, exercise free will, and choose the parameters of our freedom. What do? We spend most of our lives doing things and acquiring things that, in many cases, keep us in mental, physical, and emotional bondage. Freedom is a state of mind. It is the outgrowth of our willingness to make conscious choices of our own free will and to live through the consequences of our choices without blame, shame, or guilt. Now, that's a good sentence. Freedom is a state of mind. It is the outgrowth of our willingness to make conscious choices of our own free will and to live through the consequences of our choices without blame, shame, or guilt. We cannot blame anyone for where we are, and we shouldn't carry any shame and guilt for choices that we've made or um, choices that were kind of made for us. Freedom is a sign of self awareness. When you are aware of what it takes to maintain your mental, emotional, and physical well being, and you make conscious choices toward that goal, you are exercising your freedom. Freedom is the recognition of the truth. The truth is that you were created with designer genes, the genes of the one who created the universe are at the core of your being. You are powerful. You are unlimited. You are the reflection of creative genius. When you realize this truth and accept it as a fact of your reality, you know that you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. Freedom requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. That's really good. Freedom requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. You must be courageous to admit that all things are possible and that you are equipped to handle them all. Why are we equipped to handle them all? I just read several sentences ahead that the power of the Holy One lives on the inside of us. Remember, you are powerful, you are unlimited, you are a reflection of creative genius. When you are willing to demonstrate this degree of courage and take a risk knowing that whatever happens, you will land in the exact place where you should be, you are totally and unequivocally free. I can hear your mind racing out there about all the things that keep you from being free, your children, money, the lack thereof, laws, rules, responsibilities to others, taxes, etc., etc. Yes, these are realities with which we live each and every day. They affect us in many ways. They do not, however, in any way infringe upon our freedom. Freedom is a state of mind. What you believe, how you feel, what you do, how you respond to any given circumstances at any given time is the only impediment to freedom. You are always free to choose how you will respond. Now, that's a good sentence because things come up and things happen, and people say stuff to us or do things to us. And this sentence is really good. You are always free to choose how you will respond. We've got to stop reacting to everything that happens to us throughout the day. We've got to stop doing that because then we're letting someone else control us in a sense. You've got to stop reacting and respond instead. Okay? Now, where's my place? All right. You are always free to choose what you will do and not do. You have a choice. The minute you feel like you don't have a choice, you lose all power, right? You have a choice. And, your free will is the choice, but you have a choice to make a good choice, right? We have the choice to make choices that will move us towards a state of freedom. And that starts in the mind. We just read freedom is a state of mind. So, where am I? You are always free to try something new, to take a risk, to challenge the status quo, and to change your mind. Yeah, you have the freedom to change your mind. Sometimes we make decisions about things and we think we're stuck. No, you're not. You can change your mind. That's perfectly okay. And sometimes changing your mind about something shows growth, but it takes courage, like we just read. It takes courage to be free. It takes courage. All right. That is what freedom is about. It is not about your bank account or level of education. Those things may help you experience a greater freedom of movement and accomplishment. They do not, however, determine whether you are free or not. Is there racial or gender discrimination? Yes. Is there poverty, disease, and famine? Yes. Is there crime? Yes. Is there social class and social grace bestowed as a result of wealth, heredity, and political clout? You better bet there is. And none of it can in any way deny your divine birthright of freedom. The question is, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to do? Are you courageous enough to live the truth of your desires without fear? All right, let's read that again. Are you courageous enough to live the truth of your desires without fear? What's that thing deep down, that desire deep within? Are you, courageous enough to go for it and not fearing any man, right? Dr. King, I think, said that not fearing any man. Going to the mountaintop, and to get there, you have to act courageously and you can't fear anything. You cannot. More important, once, let me go back up one sentence. Once you decide what you want and whether you are willing to do what it takes to get it, you are free to follow your dreams. More important, once you are clear about the experience you want to have, you are free to make the choices that will result in your having that experience. I wanted to be free to travel. I wanted to live in a nice big house in a nice ritzy titsy neighborhood. I wanted the ability to buy the things I wanted when I wanted them without concerns for the price tag. Those wants had nothing to do with freedom. I was free to travel. I could have been an airline stewardess. I could have joined the Peace Corps. Buying an airline ticket is not the only way you can access travel. In order to be free, you must be clear about exactly what it is that you want and be open to any and all possible means of acquiring what you want. So that was a good sentence. So let me see. Every time I take my eyes off, I lose my spot. Hold on. All right. In order to be free, you must be clear about exactly what it is that you want and be open to any and all possible means of acquiring what you want. And in order to do that, you have to again be courageous. You do. You absolutely do, because fear will try to stop you dead in your tracks from going for what you really want. Oh my goodness. In my coaching program, that's weeks 11 and 12, talk about, discovering who you really are, what it is you really want, and then taking action on that. So that's real important. Real important. All right. where we are. Living in a nice big house means you have to clean it. I do not like housekeeping or house cleaning. How can you be free if you have a big house to clean? Obviously, there were some inherent conflicts in my freedom quest. When you have lots of things, particularly expensive things, there is a deep seated desire to protect them from harm. This means bars, gates, alarm systems. I didn't want to live behind bars and gates. That's like being in jail. Once again, I discovered evidence of conflict in my search to be free. I think this is true for most of us. The things we think will give us freedom will actually keep us in bondage. Yeah? What I also discovered is that many of the things I thought I wanted as a demonstration of freedom, I actually wanted for a completely different reason. I wanted things I thought would make me feel better about myself. I had been imprisoned by self defeating, self denying attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. All right, I know this is live, but I have to send a text message because they have it really loud downstairs, and I have to text my daughter. I just tried texting you. That's too loud.
I'm not on here.
How did it get that loud? You changed to something else? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, now I took my eyes off the page. Just bear with me, please. I'm trying here. Where did I leave off? Um, okay. Okay, we talked about the bars and gates. Okay. I didn't want to live behind bars and gates. That's like being in jail. Once again, I discovered evidence of conflict in my search to be free. I think this is true for most of us. The things we think will give us freedom will actually keep us in bondage. What I also discovered is that many of the things I thought I wanted as a demonstration of freedom, I actually wanted for a completely different reason. I wanted things I thought would make me feel better about myself. I had been imprisoned by self defeating, self denying attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. Yeah, yeah, our own beliefs will keep us imprisoned. Our own beliefs. We have to make sure that our beliefs, are lined up with God's word, period, right? Amen. I got the house, most of the things, and the opportunity to travel long before I got the money. I found freedom about the same time that I turned 40 years old. It was then that I was mature enough to examine and peel away any behavior, attitude, or belief that was limiting blessing. You're so loud. Okay, but it's super loud. Can you do it quieter, maybe a little bit?
It's only loud for a second, dear.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. She said, okay, she was 40. It was then that I was mature enough to examine and peel away any behavior, attitude, or belief that was limiting or restrictive. It was then that I took off my people pleasing cape. I found freedom about the same time that I developed the courage and the presence of mind to say no without feeling guilty. The immediate outgrowth of my newfound freedom was the ability to ask for what I wanted. And that's a really good one. We have to stop being afraid to ask for what we want, because if we don't, then we might be harboring bitterness and resentment. So don't be afraid to ask for what you want. This was enhanced by the willingness to ask someone else if the first person said no. My sense of personal freedom increased at the same time as my willingness to do what felt right to me, even when people said I was crazy. My freedom also kept pace with my willingness to face the things I feared most. If you can admit you are afraid and keep moving, you will be released from the fear. Freedom from fear, guilt, false responsibilities, and the need to be legitimized by others opens your mind to new choices, new opportunities, and amazing possibilities. When I realized that God, the divine source of life, not people, was the source and substance of all good things, I was free from every ism that held me captive. When I stopped comparing myself to others, stopped competing with others, when I was able to honestly want the best for everyone, when I became willing to make choices and accept full responsibility for their consequences, every chain that held me in a place of mediocrity and unfulfillment fell away. Speaking for myself, I discovered freedom as an inherent part of my life the day I stopped telling God what I wanted and I asked, how could I be of service to God? Now that's good, and it's so true. It's not what I want. How can I serve you, God? How can I serve you best? Shortly thereafter, the guidance came, the self trust deepened, and the gates of my mental, emotional, and spiritual prison flew open. There's something very freeing about noticing that. No, I read that wrong. There is something very freeing about knowing that God believes in you. That's so good. We have to know that God believes in us. It is freeing. It really is. All right, the commentary are my words on what I journaled on this particular day when I read this. I'm so sorry. This is your first time joining me. My name is Shena Major. I'm a life coach and I help people heal from unhealthy relationships and learn to love themselves. And this is a book I read back in like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. So I'm going through it now and we're at the part of the book the day 14 where it's the journal commentary. So I'm reading these live um, and let's see what I wrote. It says, after reading today's commentary, I realize I will be or I'm most free when I'm following my dream and accomplishing and meeting my little goals. When I'm walking in God's will. And then it says, I'm something, but I can't read it. Walking in God's will. And then I said, I'm free to choose. I'm free to ask for what I want. The key phrase or phrases I want to remember and work with today are being courageous to admit all things are possible and I can handle them all. I'm free when I can say no and not feel guilty. The other thing I wanted to remember that day was I'm free when I do what feels right to me. I'm free because God believes in me. Living God's plan for my life sets me free. Did you hear that? Living God's plan, not my will, but God's plan sets me free. So that's good. Okay, my goodness. What do we got? The next section are the affirmations, so feel free to repeat them out loud or in your head after me. Today, I will remember how powerful I am. Today, I will remember that I am protected, guided, and illuminated by the divine presence in my being. Today, I will remember the number of times I have been sheltered from the storm. Today, I will remember that I have been forgiven when I was unable or unwilling to forgive myself. Today, I will thank the divine for mercy, grace, and goodness that gives me the freedom to be and grow and live the glory of my divinity. For this, I am so grateful, and so it is. Let me remember God's grace is freedom. God's perfect and divine plan for my life will set me free. Freedom is my divine birthright. Freedom is a state of mind. I am always free to choose. My free will is the foundation of my freedom. I am free to ask for what I want. Freedom is an experience that money cannot buy. Those are beautiful things to remember. They really are. Rewind this back and, say those out loud as much as possible. If you feel like you're in a place where you feel imprisoned or, you know, not free, read those back. Read those back. It's a state of mind. Now, the next section and the last part of our reading tonight is the evening journals about freedom. So let's see what I wrote back then. It says, today I realized that my understanding of freedom is being me. So that's what I wrote then. And the second prompt says, the experience of freedom I seek is being excited for tomorrow to come to, hold on, being excited for tomorrow to come and to want to get up in the morning. So not dreading the morning. How many of us have dreaded the morning, and getting up? So we got to really ask ourselves what's going on in our day-to-day life that we don't want to wake up the next day. What is it that we're not excited about? And then find out what excites you and then get after it, right? Get after it. So, you want to get up and get going and honor God in your day. We should want to honor God in our day. And the last journal prompt was the way in which I have hindered my own freedom is by letting free, that doesn't make sense, by letting free of the, oh my gosh, from starting my dreams, from letting free of the, I can't read this, sorry, from starting my dreams, something about, oh, by, oh my God, by letting free of the stop me. Something from stopping me from starting my dreams. Sorry, sometimes my handwriting, I can't even read it. But it was something about comparison. I don't know. Something about not being able to start my dreams. So I must have been feeling like I wasn't free and I was in some kind of bondage because I knew I had dreams or goals or things I wanted to accomplish and I just wasn't doing that. And we don't want to do that. We got to change the way we think so we can, move forward towards our expected end, right? The goal and the things that God planned for us when He thought of you, right? When He created you. So that's really good. I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me and listening to the reading of Iyanla Vanzant's wisdom. I hope that you were blessed and that you got something out of it. And tomorrow we'll be moving on to day 15, and it looks like the word for tomorrow is fun. So that should be pretty good. All right. I hope everybody gets a wonderful night's sleep. If you're listening to this during the day, I'm hoping that you have a blessed day. And always remember that true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love and He lives on the inside of you. So we'll talk tomorrow. Bye. Good night.